Hi, it's Steve Factor again with Pure Energy Factor, and I have Jennifer here.
Hi.
From Dr. Morse's office.
Hello.
This is the first woman, the first person I spoke to getting into Dr. Morse's office. She's the gatekeeper, if you will, and she's the one that has helped me so much. Dr. Morse, you get to talk to him while you have your appointment, but then to call in and ask questions about this or this, and I went through a detoxification process that I'm still going through, and I would give Jennifer a call, and she was so patient with me and gave me these, tidbits of, well, when this happened to me, I did this, or we've heard that this happens, and you'll get success here if you start to do that. And I started to feel better, and it was really important to me too, because when I was newly raw, and I couldn't quite keep it, you remember that? It's like, cheeseburgers. I was like from raw to cheeseburgers, raw to pizza, raw to Chinese food, Mexican, you name it, because I'm so addicted to that other stuff. And so for a couple of years, I was just going back and forth, and I was beating myself up. And you were always so gracious to me about, don't beat yourself up, just kind of get back on, and it's all good. And I'm the kind of guy that if I don't do it perfect, forget the whole thing. And that's some kind of stinking thinking that.
That's cute. I like that.
Yeah.
Stinking thinking.
I did not originate that saying, but it was that way of just this or that, and it's like maybe I could just get back on at any time and give myself the love that I deserve. And Jennifer was a big part of that. So I want to hear from you how you got involved. From a teenager to get into the raw foods and Dr. Morse and.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, I started at 15 when I met Dr. Morse's son, Jason, and we dated all through high school. And when I was 15, he looked into my eyes and said I had a lot of nerve rings, so he gave me herbs to start on, which I did. And from there, I had the biggest chunk of mucus, like that thick, that wide, this color yellow, come out to where it choked me. I could not even get it out. But when I did, I was like, wow, this is really cool stuff. So a couple of years went by. I started working for him right after high school at 17. Got a job with them, just put myself through college. With them while I worked, and they were great. They were always accommodating. So as you learn and you grow, I got further and further along with working directly with him and understanding how he worked with his clinic and his practice. And then we started to work on the Detox Miracle Source Book, which I was hand in hand, typed all that. We even did all-nighters on it. It was some great, great times and memories.
That's my raw food Bible, by the way. I have the book I go to, and it was Dr. Morse's Detox Miracle Source Book.
We had a lot of great times doing that, but just moving up the ladder and learning how everything was, and I worked in the shipping. I managed the shipping first and bottled the herbs, and then as you get a little bit older, and I got a little bit more out of myself because I was a very shy, timid type of person. So the more I worked on myself, the more I felt comfortable with myself, the more I started working with the people. And that's just how I got into it. And the more I worked on myself, the more I wanted to inspire other people for when they called in, so they can understand what I go through and what you go through, and just like the whole gamut of learning the process of detoxification. We all do that. So that's what I did. And when I became pregnant, I was already working on myself health-wise for that long a period of time, so I knew it was time to have a kid. So when I had a kid, I was predominantly raw. I did well throughout my whole pregnancy. Here and there, of course, you cheat and mix up, but everybody does. No one's perfect, and that's the only thing you have to say. I'm not perfect. I won't beat myself up, and tomorrow will be a new day. And that's all that I ever, can picture for myself and anybody else that's doing this type of thing.
Yeah. And so during pregnancy, a lot of women through pregnancy who might have some interest in veganism or raw veganism are like, oh, but my baby won't get enough protein, right. and we hear it from the allopathic medical community that it's like, okay, we need this and this, and tell us a little bit about that.
Well, with my pregnancy, I'm not a big meat eater. I never was a big meat eater. Even as a child, I would hide it underneath the plate, just never was into it. So I never got into the meat thing, but I did do a lot of fruits and vegetables, and you're going to get all your protein and your amino acids in with your fruits and your vegetables. I did superfood blends instead of prenatals for a lot of other reasons, but I had huge, strong, healthy babies, gained 48 pounds for both of my pregnancies. I had 2 strong 8-pound, 6-ounce babies. Well, my little girl was 8-12, but they were wonderfully healthy. There was no complications. My son at a week old was standing on his hands and knees ready to crawl, and the doctor was like, oh my goodness, you better watch this one. So to bust that misconception with you have to eat all these certain foods during pregnancy, you don't, because you get all of your foods that you need in with your fresh fruits and vegetables. So that if I can even halfway present that in a nice way, then I would be happy to help out.
Great. Yeah. And so being raw compared to, there are times where you're more raw than others.
Absolutely.
And how's the feeling of being totally raw versus, 75% or so?
There is a huge difference, and you feel your best, you feel more focused, you feel more lighter, you feel more cleaner when you're at your toppest of percentage, if you will, with raw foods. When you're not, I get tired, I get lethargic, I get depressed, I get like I don't really have any motivation. So when I start to get down that road, I always pull myself back out and cut out the cooked and go a little bit more raw, and all the energy comes back. You want to do more things, you want to feel better, and just there's a certain sense of knowing that point where you can only go so far before you need to pull yourself back, and that's called the balance. And when you know that balance and you work that balance, then you will get what you want out of it.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I do raw, for the energy, for the pure energy. It's just, I love energy. I love feeling good and clear, and as a result for me, I love everybody. Like everybody just immediately they're loved by me. Like, and I love me, and I love like nature and flowers and the trees and just everything in life has increased in my perception to love. And this is just from fruits and vegetables, and it's like, what do you know? We're just giving the body exactly what it wants. Not what our head wants or what the commercials tell us we need, and eat your meat and you got to have dairy, and like we learned today, I knew this before, but Dr. Morse talked about it today, that the worst thing we could do, if you want to cut out one thing, well, I would say besides processed food, would be dairy.
Dairy, big time.
Dairy is just like so mucus forming, and we're learning about getting rid of the mucus, rid of the obstructions, and when we get rid of the mucus and of the obstructions, all of a sudden we have a better experience on this planet Earth. Mm-hmm. And Jennifer is one of those lighthouses that helps people.
Thanks.
Yeah, like take it, and I told her yesterday, I walked up to her and I just said, you're such a good match for Dr. Morse, because Dr. Morse, he's like been doing this a long time, and he's like very like spiritual and out there, and you're like down on earth, and not that he's arrogant in any way, but she's just like more of a normal person, and such a great bridge, to help, and it's such a good balance, and just really glad to know you now and to see you in person.
Yeah, thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
Very much.
Love you too. So good, and thank you, and
You're welcome.
bye everybody.
Bye.
Whee!